But a thing that you said also about being at the at the airport or on the plane is like everybody believes in Jesus and alcohol. It's like an easy thing to default to, especially when there's a lot of fear that comes up, right? Like flying and whatever.
Yeah.
So what in kind of all the different examples that you were just giving, aside from just the baseline stress, like what was maybe some of the fear, some of the kind of like the deeper shit that was getting triggered for you in a moment like that?
Life is overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
That maybe I'm not equipped to handle this. Maybe this is a bigger task than I'm capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bigger task than you're capable.
Yeah.
Well, but interesting because you're talking about like, being capable. It's a bigger task than being capable of. And you're kind of talking about how like you're either taking care of everyone and everything. Like Jamie had a hard week, construction site outside, your son, and just kind of your own shit. Or you're on your own and you're like in the airport and you're just kind of doing your own thing because you just came back from a job and you're like completely on your own. So like, is there something in that? Like, is there kind of a caregiving thing? Is there a lack of care from people? Like what's kind of like the deeper trigger for you in moments when like that shit feels overwhelming?
I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. It is kind of a lonely feeling. It is kind of a lonely feeling of like this is up to me or this is all on my shoulders. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of actually feel a version of that too. I've been feeling a little bit burnt out. We were kind of talking privately before the show started, but been kind of feeling burnt out. And, I also recognize how much for myself, very similarly to what you're describing, I'm like, my whole fucking life is centered around taking care of people. I mean, even this podcast is about like trying to have answers for people and, being supportive and uplifting. And that's what I do several times a day throughout the entire week.
But you can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have.
Yeah.
It's easier. And it's also, I know for myself, it feels easier for me to just kind of overindulge in that. Like, I'm going to take care of people. I can do this because I do it well. And it feels good to, to feel good about doing what I do and all that stuff. It's a little bit more challenging sometimes for me to ask for help. And so what I wind up doing sometimes is maybe just kind of like isolating, just kind of, I'm like, I just want to be alone. I don't want to deal with anybody.
Right.
But there's a deeper part of that I think really does kind of tap into my own fear of like maybe being unlovable. Like, maybe people are more invested or interested in me when I have something to give them, when I can take care of them.
That I have to be this in order to be lovable.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it. That's it. That's the answer, is that if I don't show up for this life in the way that I'm supposed to show up.
Right.
If I'm not as dependable as I could be, if I'm not as funny as I could be, if I'm not the best parent or best father or best friend, then I'm going to fall short. And then it's just going to be me. It's just going to be me. I've been really, really vulnerable. And the biggest part of it about this, the biggest vulnerability that I've experienced the past 4 months is I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. Embarrassed about what?
I'm embarrassed about that I have a problem. I'm embarrassed that that it had to get, because it's such a cliche. And and I'm not the only person. I mean, everybody had drank during the pandemic and everything,
right? Yep.
But for me, it kind of, it just, because I have been talking about it out loud, and I do feel shame about I'm kind of a mess. I have problems that needed to be looked at. It's admitting the fault has been liberating and embarrassing. It's both of those things.
Yeah, totally. And then
I'm embarrassed right now.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
What does it because what does it feel like it means that as you
it
own this stuff?
Like, okay, like it's not funny.
Yeah.
It's not like do. It's not like, I feel like you say, like, I'm here to uplift people. I want to be there for people. I want people to know that we're a safe space and they could talk about stuff. And then it's kind of, but I guess it's like in sharing my own vulnerabilities, it gives other people the space to go, okay, well, I'm not so bad because that bitch is a mess.